Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Tuesday, April the 9th, 2019, 5:52 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So I'm going to do a follow-up show, a separate follow-up show on the C. auris report, or Candida auris report that I did last night. I did get a response from someone at Global Healing Center. It got a real long, nice email back with lots of links and explanation, but I really want to make that a separate show, and so I'll do that in the next few days. And I had some great comments. The response in the comments was excellent, and lots of good information from a lot of my viewers, and so I appreciate all of y'all sharing all your knowledge and things that you know about Candida and how to deal with it besides a traditional medical standpoint. And one reason I'm a little bit hesitant to go into detail on a YouTube video about it, with the, how you can help the symptoms of Candida, is because a lot of natural health people, a lot of naturopathic doctors and stuff, they've lost their lives. I mean, the natural healing community is under great attack, and I just, I might just do a video and put it up on my Subscribe page and make it a public video over there. It will be a public video. I just haven't decided what venue I'm going to use yet. Or I might do it on Vimeo. I don't know. So, I'll figure that out in the next few days. In the meantime, let's look at some methane. And we saw they have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday data up, and I've already done detailed reports on each of these days for I'll be right back. Okay, I just had to double check and see what I had done when. Now, we saw the data from Friday. We saw it in detail on my Sunday climate roundup. I've done some detailed reports for Saturday and Sunday, and it's on my Subscribe page for my people who are supporting my work for $5 a month over on Subscribe. And if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you over there, and there are details left below in the description box. But so I'll briefly go over Sunday. That's the latest data, and I haven't seen a blowout. I've got the Arctic view pulled up, and I've got surface level pulled up. I've not seen a blowout at all. In fact, the Arctic itself looks a little calmer. I mean, we're not seeing these large releases, these arms of red and orange and brown come across. So it's a little jumpy this first time through, even though I've got the movie loaded up. So here it was at the end of Saturday, beginning of Sunday, with a little release over here in the Kara Sea. Now I want you to watch Svalbard. We had release here on Svalbard last week, and it had calmed down, but it is releasing again. Svalbard, they do coal mining there, in case anybody is interested. So see, it is coming up in the data period. So that was on Sunday, and here it is in the forecast period releasing a little more, and Iceland is releasing a little bit too. And then we're in the forecast period, we see another wave coming up out of the Kara Sea, and you know, it's just waves that develop and disperse and develop and do things. Now, also of interest is this Okhotsk area. This is a town that's on the coast. This is Russia, and this is the Sea of Okhotsk, and this is the Kamchatka Peninsula. Japan is down here in the ocean, and then this is Russia here. But I was noticing last week when I was doing my daily detailed reports, there's this periodic release here. I don't know if they've got drilling or something going on there, but there's definitely methane activity there. There's also some methane activity on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Of course, there's volcanoes all the way down that peninsula, so that could be from that. So that's kind of what the Arctic is doing. And then I thought I'd show global real quick, and then I'm going to get into earthquakes. I've had a real busy day, and I'm just pretty tired and don't want to do a long show. Now, in the data period on Sunday, of interest here is this large release coming off the east coast of Brazil and in the Atlantic Ocean here. Normally we don't see this, and we can see also it's higher levels coming at the surface. This is surface level, so within 1,000 it's 1,000 millibars, and so we're seeing it's rising right here to the east of this coast of South America up into about 1900 parts per billion. And notice how, you know, when they changed the scale back in December, with the blue and the purple now, you can barely make out where these continents are, where the land is. You can barely make out unless you have a paler color. Like up here you can definitely make out the land masses, but down here you just can't. So but I haven't seen it like this coming off of South America like this in a very long time. So there's that. So I'm gonna make that as a backdrop. Well, we can load this movie. I didn't have it loaded up already, but while it's loading, we can see huge releases in the United States, up here in the Northeast, and releases in the Midwest and where all that flooding was. There's got to be a lot of toxic stuff giving off methane over there. Still releasing up here in Canada, in that Deer Park area, and large releases throughout Europe, and then here through Russia, northern part of India, of course China, and so forth. So you can find where you are on the globe and see what methane looks like in your neck of the woods. Looks like there's some release off of Spain, off the northern part of Spain. But we haven't had a blowout yet. I don't know if we will. You know, it may be a more gradual thing. Just here and there where it starts releasing a lot. And so the Arctic has calmed down from what we were seeing. We were seeing huge releases back in March. So I'm going to leave that as a backdrop. And now I'm going to get into earthquakes because I'm just pretty beat today. So we have USGS pulled up all magnitudes for the last 24 hours, and we're showing 231 earthquakes worldwide. Of those, we have 32 that are 2.5 magnitude and higher. So let's see what's about to come off the map. This 2.7 in Nevada, Warm Springs at 7:31 last night. This 4.1 down in 4.9 in Vanuatu. We'll go ahead and start with that. 4.9 near Solo, Vanuatu at 7:57 last night. 210 kilometers deep. Now let's just start coming around this ring of fire. We've got a 4.8 near Finschhafen, Papua New Guinea at 10:42 this morning, 167 kilometers deep. Still learning, trying to figure out which mouse I'm going to be using. Okay, here at Taiwan we've got 3. They're covered up, it looks like. Okay, we've got a little one hiding under that big one. So we've got 4.8 near Hualien, Taiwan at 8:13 this morning, and then a 5.0 right on top of it at 1:24 this afternoon, and a 4.7 in the ocean near there at 3:57 this afternoon. And all these times are Pacific time because that's my time zone. See. Let's just follow this ring of fire. Okay, so here off this northeast coast of Japan was a 4.4 near Hachinohe at 1:55 this morning, 35 kilometers deep. Now, this is the Sea of Okhotsk, and right here, right in this little cubby hole is Okhotsk. And here's the Kamchatka Peninsula. So that's where we were seeing that methane right near that red line, which is where the tectonic plates meet. So now let's zoom on in to Tajikistan. They're calling it near Kunduz, Afghanistan, a 4.0 at 9:30 this morning, 54 kilometers deep. But it's actually in Tajikistan from the looks of it. Now let's come on over. Let's check this. This is the big one. The big one of the day is this 6.5 that happened in this South Atlantic Ocean, very near the Antarctic, and we saw a couple of others on the other side of this plate in the last couple of days. 6.5 magnitude near Bristol Island, South Sandwich Islands, came in at 10:54 this morning, 47 kilometers deep. And it has a little wave there. I already checked it, and they said there weren't any tsunami warnings. So there's that. Now coming on into South America was a 4.0 near Caraguinga, Chile at 5:29 this morning, 20 kilometers deep. Then off the coast of Colombia, 5.0 near Mosquero at 4:39 this morning, 14 kilometers deep. And I think that's all the international ones. Let's look at this one on Baja. 3.2 near Maniadero, Baja, Mexico at 2:34 this morning. Very shallow, 0.4 kilometers deep. So not very many internationally. So that means we've got a bunch of little ones over here with the United States and Alaska. So here's Hawaii for today. We've got 6 showing. I'll just call them off. 2.4 at Honokaa, and this was at 10:26 last night. That was pretty deep. It's 40 kilometers deep. 2.0 at Honokaa at 10:56 last night. 1.7 Pahala. 1.8 Volcano. That's near Kilauea, and that's a 0.4 kilometer depth. 1.9 at Kilauea at a minus 0.5 kilometer depth, and a 2.3 at Waimea at 11:14 this morning. So we're seeing activity on the northern end of the island now today, and those are pretty good size. So there's that. Now let's move on over to Dominican Republic area, and we're showing 12 today. So 3.0, 1.3, 2.4, 1.6, 1.8, 2.1, 2.8, 3.1, 2.3, 2.8, 1.8, and 2.6. So those weren't big enough to cause damage, but they're definitely showing movement on that Caribbean plate. Now let's take a peek at Alaska. And we've got 82 here today. Now Alaska averages between 50 and 100 earthquakes a day. Of these, 8 are 2.5 magnitude and higher. So let's start with those. Here's a 2.6 Akutan. This is in the Aleutian Islands. And another 2.6 near Akutan. Then here's this 3.6 near Kodiak. 2.6 near Kodiak. 2.9 Anchorage. Here Kobuk is still active at 3.3 at Kobuk at 0 kilometer depth and at 2.7 at Kobuk. And then up here in the north is a 2.8 near Koktovik at a 0.1 kilometer depth. So now let's look at a little more in detail in Alaska. We've got 26 here at Kobuk today. So this has been very active for the last couple of weeks, and we're still seeing very shallow or at 0 depth a bunch of these. This 3.3 was at 0 depth. This 2.3 was at 0.3 depth, 2.30 depth. Then we got them in the ones, and here's a 2.0 at 0 depth, and so forth. 2.7, 2.3, 2.3. And that last 2.3 came in at 4:01 this afternoon at 0 depth. So whatever is happening there, it's still very active. It looks like we got another one up here in the north, a 1.7 Koktovik as well. So Anchorage has really calmed down. Look, there's not many there. There are 20 in this picture here today. I ate something that I'm reacting to, so that's why I'm hoarse. So they're peppered around here. We've got a few more coming in around this curve. Here we have another explosion. Oh, an ice quake, another ice quake, a 2.4 magnitude ice quake near Haines, Alaska. This happened at 6:11 this morning at 0 kilometers depth. And here's another, here's a 2.3 ice quake near Gustavus at 3:15 this afternoon at 0 kilometers depth. I know we've talked about ice quakes before, but I would just like to remember what an ice quake is. Ice quake on eBay, right. Ice quake. Oh, there's a TV movie called Ice Quake. Ice quakes are a frightening wintertime occurrence. What in the world is an ice quake? Let's try that one. From WDRB Weather Blog. How about that? This is from February of 2015. Ice quake causes driveway to crack. Oh, that's where the ice is underneath and it moves around and causes an earthquake. According to Wikipedia, an ice quake is technically known as cryoseism, sometimes called a frost quake or ice quake. Cryoseism may be caused by sudden cracking action in frozen soil or rock saturated with water or ice. As the water drains into the ground, it may eventually freeze and expand under colder temperatures, putting stress on its surroundings. This stress builds up until relieved explosively in the form of cryoseism. So we've talked about this before. I just wanted to review it. Unlike earthquakes, where effects can be felt on a widespread scale, ice quakes are very localized, with most impacts occurring in close proximity to the epicenter. Despite their localized nature, they can pack a punch with intensities measuring up to 6 on the modified Mercalli scale. Some reports have indicated the presence of distant flashing lights before or during a cryoseism, possibly due to electrical changes when rocks are compressed. Cracks and fissures may also appear as surface areas contract and split apart from the cold. So, it makes me think, because Alaska has had such a warm, they've been really warm recently, they might have had a bunch of melting, and then it got really cold at night and it refroze, and then it cracked. But this one happened at 3:15 in the afternoon. This one happened at 6:11 in the morning. I don't know, just interesting. But those are pretty big magnitude for ice quakes. Pretty big ice quakes. Here's another one. Oh, already saw. Is that one I already saw? 2.3. Yeah, okay, I saw that. I've got ice quakes on the brain. Okay, let's come on down to the lower 48. And we're going to start with this one off the east coast of New York. Long Island, it looks like. We have a 3.0. They're calling it near Southampton, New York. That happened at 4:22 this morning, which would have been 7:22 East Coast time, 7 kilometers deep. We don't normally see them over there. So they probably, I don't know if they felt it or not. But this is Long Island, and this is New York up here. Well, there's the New York State and New York City. So this is New York City. And this is anyway. And then this is New York State. Coming on across, we have one in Oklahoma, a 2.5 near Cushing, Oklahoma, at 12:09 this afternoon. Then here's one in Arizona, Littlefield, 2.5 near Littlefield, Arizona, at 7:24 this morning. Now coming on up into Utah, we've got 2 near Enterprise. They're both minor, 0.2. Those are microquakes. Coming on up, we've got one at Farron, 1.4, and a 1.6 at Fairview. And this one is at a minus 2.8 kilometer depth. This happened at 6:27 last night, so that was up in the mountain. Now let's come on up into the Yellowstone area. Wow! I have not looked at earthquakes all day. I've been out and been busy doing stuff when I got home. So we've got something to talk about here, don't we? So let's look at up here first. There's a 1.1 near Helena, West Side, Montana. Let's make sure we got, yeah, okay. So we got 18 in the yellows. This is all the Yellowstone area, this whole thing. So we got 18 in the area. So 1.0 near Helena West Side. Let's do these others first. Here's a 1.1 Soda Springs, Idaho. Here's a 1.8 Victor, Idaho. Here's a 0.9 West Yellowstone, Montana. Here's a 2.0 Lima, Montana. Now, what in the heck is going on? Okay, this is the Lima, Montana one. So minus that, we've got 14 here. And they're all being reported out of Lima, Montana. And here's a 3.3. Here's a 4.4. Man, this has been rocking today. So I'm going to call them off. So it started with this 2.0 at 5:38 this morning. And then a 0.8 near West Yellowstone. So that's over there. Well, let's just get that one off the map. I just want to look at Lima. So we've got 14 for Lima, Montana. So 4.4 at 11:08 this morning. 3.2 at 11:11, so 3 minutes later. So it definitely swarmed. 2.4, 11:13, 2 minutes later. 2.2 at 11:18, so 5 minutes later. 2.3 at 11:30, so 12 minutes later. 2.0 at 11:33, 3 minutes later. 1.1, 11:37, 4 minutes later. And a 1.9 at 11:44, 7 minutes later. 1.1 at 12:13, and a 1.5 at 12:13. These were literally like 20 seconds apart. And a 1.3 at 12:45, 2.0 at 12:56, and a 2.3 at 4:17. That was the last one. I don't see any at a negative depth. They were all around 10 kilometers deep. Except for, here's the first one that was 6 kilometers deep, and so forth. But most of them were around 10 kilometers deep. So, that's rocking. That's definitely rocking. Now let's move on into the Pacific Northwest. Got 2 showing here today. 1.1 near Morton, just to the north of Mount St. Helens volcano, and a 2.0 near Kelso. And so let's look at our real-time tremor map. And in the last 3 hours, we've only had 2 tremors, but look at the last, let's see the last 24 hours. Not many. What's going on here? Not many. Maybe that big one down in the South Atlantic took away the tremors. We've got a few going up here. Just a few. I mean, we could count these practically. Not many, maybe 15 or 20. So, but if we go, so that's 1.2 hours of tremor. 48 hours, though, 6.1 hours of tremor. So you see where the grouping was here. This is to the west of Mount St. Helens, and it's right about where this 2.0 earthquake happened. Longview. See, there's where the little bay comes in. So we've been getting a lot of tremors there. Okay, Oregon is clear, or they're not reporting, whatever. Either way, here we've got a 2.7 off the coast of Petrolia, California at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Here in Northern California is a 1.4 near Mineral. Here's Oroville, and the dam is down here. Next, coming into the Reno area was a 0.3 near Cold Springs. Here's one at Pyramid Lake, a 0.4 at Pyramid Lake. Here's a 1.1 near Virginia City. Here's a 0.8 at Tahoe Vista, California. It's on the northwest coast of Tahoe Lake, Lake Tahoe. Here's a 0.2, Johnson Lane, Nevada. So that's in between Carson City and Minden. Here's a 1.3 at Urington. And we've got 3 reported at Hawthorne today, 3 small ones. And we've got, it's pretty quiet down here. Let's see. Oh, I spoke too soon. Look at all those. Picking up. The earthquake makers are back at work. So we've got some small ones down here. But here's a 2.5 near Alamo. And a 1.8 near Caliente. Let's look at this cluster at Courant. We've been, okay, we had 4 here, 1.5, 2.7, 2.1, and 1.5. So that action is picking up. Let's look at Mammoth Lakes while we're here. We've got 9 here today. So that's picking back up. 1's and under. 1's and very small, just 1's and under. Moving on down this east side. Here's a 1.1 near Beatty. 1.2 Coso Junction. So that's kind of calmed down there. Here's a 1.4 Johannesburg. So that was Johannesburg. Here we have a 1.6 magnitude quarry blast at Boren, California at 9:37 this morning at a minus 0.8 kilometer depth. Here's a 2.1 Big Bear city. Let's see what's 2.5 magnitude or higher over here. I think we already saw them. Alamo. Yeah, we already saw them. Okay. So, in Southern California, we're showing 19 here today. So that number is gone way down from what we see a lot of days. That 2.1 is probably the biggest one. Oh, 2.3 is the biggest one near Cabazon. Okay, let's come on up this San Andreas fault line. Here's a 1.1 Parkfield, 0.7 Tres Pinos, 0.8 Gilroy, and now the geysers has 38 here today, and they're coming in with all the little red lights here. That 2.3, that came in at 5:40 this afternoon, and in 1.5, that's the last one, came in at 6:24. But most of these are low ones or under 1. So I think that's a wrap. Let's zoom out and see. We had a 2.0 come in at Skagway, Alaska at 6:28. I don't see anything else. I think that's a wrap. So I'm going to wrap this up for tonight. I hope everyone has a good evening. And I do believe we are in the end times. And it's time to get your spiritual house in order while you still have a chance. God bless you. Go in peace and good night.